Hello, and welcome to Final Show Films. I'm John, or Taku, as you might know me on Twitter, the executive producer here, and I just want to thank you for watching. It really means a lot to us that people watch, listen to, and enjoy our shows. If you want to help us keep making these shows as fun and lively as they can be, please join your fellow fans in supporting us at our Patreon page at patreon.com/fsfilms or by subscribing to our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/finalshowfilms. It really means a lot to us that the amount of you who do support us continue to do so, especially our $25 plus tier supporters on Patreon. Antitonic, Cat Waterflame, Samantha Bates, Maureen Monty, and Gravity Alexander. Every little bit helps, so thank you to all of our patrons and subs. Check us out on Twitter at Final Show Films and on our website at www.finalshowfilms.com for updates, go-live notifications, and more. We love interacting with you, so feel free to tweet at us or email us at finalshowfilms@gmail.com. That being said, please relax and enjoy.
2, 3.
We didn't angle the cameras.
Haha, well, and I forgot that we have,
Is it so dark?
we once again have he who they call John.
Yes, I do exist. Hi everybody, give us a second, we're adjusting cameras.
There we go. That one's good. Doesn't that go higher? I think that
Still
goes higher.
dark.
It does, but I'm just trying to, I've got to make it
Hold
not
on.
wash out
Is
the
it-
rest of the line.
Not dark.
No, it's fine.
It feels
it's okay.
dark.
It's because
It's not that it feels dark, it's that it feels like an interrogation room with
it's
all the light
because
coming from one side.
well, it's because the light is blue and not orange.
I guess it's kind of fitting for Cthulhu. Are we
Picky,
allowed to eat the
picky,
popcorn?
picky.
Apparently,
Yes.
Yes. Somebody said
He was
it
eating
okay.
it.
he found it in the.
I started
I will premise.
It was in the
he
garage.
found it. He found it in the garage. So.
I
I also
did.
got home yesterday, or day before.
Yeah.
It's old, but it's fine.
It's not old, it was the person who made it was not doing her job correctly, and so wasn't sellable, so.
Why wasn't it sellable?
Did she drop it on the floor?
Because there's giant clumps of
Yes.
of
Giant
coating
blocks.
in some places and then some that aren't coated.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to
give
say
it-
cocaine for a minute.
There's cocaine in
Pass it
there.
around.
Yeah.
No, there isn't cocaine.
I
That's
mean,
the problem.
that's normal though. That's always there.
When it's, alright, your job is literally to coat ingredient A with ingredient B, and you fail to do that.
So
Anyway.
that
Regardless,
was some fun.
Because you coated ingredient B with ingredient A.
Ah, I see. That was a problem.
I'm very impressed that you can coat a
can't.
chocolate coating
Forgot how
with
popcorn.
cornmeal.
Solidify it into like little spheres, and then
God.
cover those spheres
Well,
with.
no, it's something. You know how whenever you have anything sticky on a flat surface and it'll just attract everything solid around it into like clumps. It's like that.
Anyway, are we on the air yet?
Alright. Well, aside from products that were messed up at the non-profit I work at, hey! Guess who we have here?
Popcorn.
We have John back!
Yeah.
Who
I'm
will
back
not-
from New York and from recovering from New York.
New York.
So, without further ado, let's introduce ourselves, starting with my father.
I called it.
Peace. Yeah, I'm Stan. I'm going to be playing Duncan. He's a security dude.
Alright, and then on my middle right,
Tax maker.
It's just gonna be this all the way back here.
Yeah, you're
Hey.
the last one. So,
So,
hit you every time.
I'm Zach. I'm playing Ichirasu, the ship's counselor.
and then...
I'm John. I'm playing Galadir Alanai, the astrophysicist.
And on my middle left,
About to say, do it to me and see what happens. Hi, I'm Holly. I'm playing Sandra Rosen. One day I'll remember her last name. She is an arborist.
I was half expecting you to say Sandra Flamecarver for a second there, and I was like,
Every
wait,
time you
no,
say
Roger,
Rose,
no.
every time you say Rosen, I end it with Cranston Guildenstern.
are
You're
dead.
dead.
Go.
On my far right,
Hey, I'm Rudy. I'm playing Kyle.
ow,
He does things with words.
By does things we mean applies them to paper.
and then on my far left,
Hi, I'm William, and I'm playing Gora Mizuki, who is the other member of the security team who's here right now.
And before we start, we're throwing to this every week on every week. Throwing to this
Every
every
week.
show of this week. Words I can do. Desert Bus for Hope has started again this year. If you go to twitch.tv/desertbus or desertbus.org, Desert Bus for Hope is a charity fundraiser event that started in 2007 and has continued on, raising over $5 million for Child's Play charity run by the wonderful folks over at Loading Ready Run. Child's Play is a charitable organization that raises money in order to provide games and toys for children in need, specifically in hospitals. They also raise funding for domestic abuse shelters, but primarily their goal is to provide toys, gifts, and entertainment to children in children's hospitals all over the world, because nothing sucks more when you're a kid than being sick around the holidays, especially if you are in long-term healthcare situations where you've had to have been in the hospital for months to years at a time. So the folks over at Desert Bus spend a week playing the most boring game in existence, Penn and Teller Smoke and Mirrors Desert Bus, in order to raise money for kids. They are currently over $200,000 for this particular run. The more money they raise, the longer they go, so it's sort of a perpetual cycle of things. So if you want to raise money for a good cause, you want to bet on really cool prizes. They sent out, one of the things that just got won last night was if you're a Magic the Gathering player, they have given away, not auctions, giveaways, which is you spend a small amount of money to be entered in for a prize drawing.
It's usually like some denomination of like $7.
Somewhere around that, but between 5 and like 13, I think was the most expensive one that's called so far. But for some small amount of money, you can be entered in to win things like a full foil set of Throne of Eldraine, if you're a Magic the Gathering player. Which is like, and I mean one of every card in Thrones of Eldraine, including Oko.
Who's gone down to a reasonable $35 a copy.
That's his plain. What is his foil price? Anyways.
Your left eyeball.
But
a place that is hard.
Lots of other things. They had a giant stained glass Ugin the Ineffable. Which was like the size of my torso. It was huge. It was gigantic. They all manner of cool things, prize giveaways, live auctions, interviews, stuff like that to raise money for a great cause. One that is near and dear to our hearts here at Final Show Films. We've supported them since our inception. And it's just a really great cause, so go check them out after you're done watching us, or in the middle of it. I don't care. They're more important than us. But
they're raising money right now.
Yeah, they're raising money right now. You can watch us later.
I remember spending a couple weeks in the hospital, and they had a Super Nintendo with 2 games.
Yeah. They've actually, one of the things that they were talking about earlier in the run is that Oculus has been teaming up with Child's Play to get VR headsets in children's hospitals.
Nice. Oh, that's cool.
For kids that especially for kids that are stuck in bed and can't get up and move around. As an ability to sort of from your bed do things like explore Google Earth or just play fun games with just your hands and head.
But in all seriousness, I was in the hospital for weeks, and they had one Super Nintendo on the entire floor, and it had 2 games.
What games?
Had Dr. Mario.
Okay.
And some unbranded racing
not even good games.
No. It was not a fun time.
So when you're done here, go check them out. We really appreciate it, and we do our best to help support them as well. DesertBus.org and twitch.tv/DesertBus. We're throwing to them at the beginning and end of every show during this week. So now on to your regularly scheduled Final Show Films programming.
I also apologize for that ad that just played. I was in the middle of looking at great old ones and didn't realize it was going to play audible ads.
I apologize for the ad that just played from John's mouth, and also for the one that you heard.
Ads within ads.
Ads within ads. Anyways.
No, don't apologize for supporting Child Play.
No,
Do that. I apologize for the skin cleanser that played when I'm looking up a great old one who flies through space and eats spaceships and looks like severed body parts. I'm not sure. I mean, I suppose it needs a skin cleanser.
Yeah, no, it definitely absolutely needs a skin cleanser.
Also, don't worry about what you may or may not be meeting this episode.
When you fly through space eating spaceships, it's very important to take care of your skin. It's very important to have a good skin.
I mean, you're just getting nothing but stellar exposure. Like,
yeah,
you're just getting exposed to
all those micrometeors. Yeah.
Nothing but radiation out there. So.
Oh, right.
SPF 5 million.
Yeah. Okay.
I feel like our beginning of episode gets longer each time. So feel free.
We keep
One-
advancing
one-
our ability to sidetrack.
One day it'll be nothing but the episode beginning, and it'll be like, all right, that's our 3 hours. We're done.
If you're interested in more sidetracking things, critical thinking is kind of...
So
we're actually working on this week. We're going to be recording a critical thinking that's going to be a video version on Star Wars: A New Hope. We're starting with episode 4 of Star Wars. That's going to be a fun series. That's going to be a fun 3 hours of tangent.
oh man, man, if you're talking about classic movies, I can critique the heck out
Oh
of
my
things.
goodness. If you let Austin do it, your thing will never end.
Yay.
Anyway, so when last we left off, we were going places and doing things. So we had our lovely group here had met with the locals on the planet that that the natives call Crator, and the people there shared a meal with our group.
Yay.
And most of which was generously accepted, except apparently our 2 individuals over here who think that space rations are better than fresh vegetables and meat.
I didn't trust it.
I haven't yet determined what's in it.
Mostly corn. But anyway, they did learn that when people get to the age of about 30, they wander off to a place called the Heart, and then assumedly become the Stitched, which appears to be corpses that have been cut apart and reassembled with plants. So, this wouldn't be a big issue if it wasn't for the fact that this is the same place where they suspect the 2 people who can both fly the ship are.
Yep.
So, you've been on the planet. By now, you spent a couple hours in the village. You've been on the planet about 4 hours now, and it'll be another 8 hours before the ship is back in range. Your ship is back in range for communication.
I'm going to find... I assume that I have not been around for all the shenanigans that have been going on.
You have most of the time been studying the various physics.
So I'm going... first of all, is there anything that I've learned in my time that I have been off-screen?
You have learned a variety of things. Go ahead and roll me... First of all, roll me occult.
Can do. $58, which is 4 higher than my 54. I'm going to spend 4 luck points to make that a success.
All right.
Which I don't know if we ever explained on this one, but you can spend luck to reduce the number you roll.
They did it. They were doing it last
Yeah.
episode.
I had to burn my luck so that I could perform self-surgery, so that I wouldn't die of a punctured lung.
So yeah, I'm gonna. Where did that pencil go that I was using? There it is. I'm gonna spend 4 points to make that a success.
The punctured lung wasn't the part that was going to kill you. It was the internal bleeding that was going to kill you.
Punctured lung had a bit to do with that. Like, it could have collapsed, and that would have been just...
I mean,
that
yeah.
would just ruin my day.
So yeah, success.
All right.
A collapsed lung is definitely a bad way to end your day. Yeah.
So
Your
Or to
days.
begin it.
It'll definitely end your day, yes.
I'll come look at you in a minute.
Well, not
Here,
necessarily.
have a second one.
you've studied this portal a lot, and whatever item that you have, your pocket watch, whatever it's made of or was made by, definitely reacts to the portal, and you feel like you could use your pocket watch to redirect the target of this portal and use it again. You'd still be the only person able to go through it, though.
Interesting. So, but if I knew a place,
If you knew a place,
I could send it there.
you could send the portal there, yes.
Can I direct it to my room on the ship?
Yes, you'd have to use physics to calculate about where in orbit your room is, but you feel like once you place it in your room, it will continue to move with the ship.
I want to see if I can do that.
Okay.
Roll physics?
Yes, roll physics. We'll assume that you're doing this while they're all
Yeah,
eating.
well, this is while they're 11 out of my 80. So,
Well, given that you're one of the people who helped do the physics to set the orbit, yeah, you know where the ship, you know where it'll be.
so does it look like it's changed?
Roll me a sanity check.
Oh boy.
Actually, roll me a power check to be more apt for this.
43. 34, which is under my 55. So.
Okay. It's going to cost you a magic point.
Okay, done.
And
Magic points recur on the every 30 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Like, you get one back every 30 minutes.
yeah.
Oh, no,
And
sorry, every minute.
again, the pocket watch gets warm in your hand, but you're able to, utilizing a combination of actual math and a sort of pseudoscience that you figured out with this portal that seems to be some sort of weird quasi-physics that doesn't seem to match with any level of math.
Just for clarification, I'm probably already a true believer mechanically.
Oh, yes.
So,
I mean, that's
magic.
exactly. But you're learning more about how magic and there's a separate set of physics that applies to magic that seems to be consistent's not the right, predictable's not the right word, consistent is a bit closer.
Yeah.
And with that, you're able to kind of fidget with your pocket watch and move things around and redirect, and it takes a good couple of minutes to get it set, and suddenly you can see into your room.
I'm going to step through.
All right, roll me a sanity check.
There is a pseudoscience to magic.
There is a pseudoscience to magic.
38.
At least
which
this
is
magic.
under my sanity.
All right. More prepared than you were last time. Again, hundreds of images fly past your head in seconds, but you focus on your target and ignore them, and you're in your room.
I'm going to grab... Is there any sort of emergency medical supply kit that might be in here? First of all, can I breathe?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
We
Second
already tried shoving the helmet back on you, and you were able to breathe the oxygen.
Cool.
You're not going to have any emergency medical kit in here that's better than what you have on the shuttle.
Okay, cool. I'm going to grab my my special book
Yes.
and take it back with me. Is the portal in my doorway or something?
It's in your closet door.
Is it my closet door?
It seemed like a decent place to put it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to go back through it.
Open your closet. You walk back through.
All right. I'm going to go find the rest. The others.
You return to the ship.
Oh, wait. They're on the ship?
They're on the shuttle.
On the
I'm
shuttle.
going to redirect the door to the shuttle.
All right.
We've also
Now you're
moved
just
the shuttle
messing
to
with
the
things.
town.
Yeah, it's in the town. The shuttle's in town.
The shuttle. We dragged the shuttle.
But I think he's showing
to-
off.
Well, no.
Oh, but you're going to do it that way. He's going to have
I,
fun.
the player, am showing off. Galadir,
Yes.
the character, is taking the shortest point between two distances.
Roll me physics again to work out some pseudoscience math.
14.
Yeah. Turns out the physicist is good at physics.
Yeah.
What do you know? Again, you probably could have walked there in the time it takes you to recalculate, but this takes much less physical energy.
It's fun.
I have
So,
there.
where on the shuttle would you like to put this portal?
Where is a place that wouldn't be used normally on the shuttle, or a place that only...
There's not a large amount of space.
There's
There's
science
the
bay.
cargo.
cockpit.
There's the cargo bay, which has all the science equipment and the medical table, and then there's the shuttle area, which is about the size of this room.
We're near the science equipment.
Okay, so the cargo bay.
Yeah.
All right, you blast open a portal and you see through it. There's a bunch of people on the other side, and it looks like Duncan has set up a projector and is playing a movie for them.
Is
Going with the wind.
Who all's there? Is it just
This is Duncan and a bunch of natives. Did any of you would join Duncan for movie time, or are you still in the
This
cockpit?
is cargo bay?
Yeah.
Cargo bay.
I'm still in the cargo bay.
Yeah, because you're still on the medical bed recovering.
I see the doctor is on the medical bed.
Yep.
I'm gonna
Stitching
walk
yourself
through.
up.
I'm curious. First of all, do any of them seem to notice the portal before I walk through?
No one seems to notice the portal.
I walk through the portal.
So you see Gallier just walk through thin air
Yeah.
and appear in the room.
Oh, hello again.
And Gore's in one corner with
I would like all of you to both of you to roll me sanity.
Me?
Because
you just saw a guy walk out of air.
A guy that you know doesn't
with
have
a portal. I mean, we know that he's been playing with a portal.
Yeah, but you don't know what the portal does, really.
We know that we walked through it and didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, you do. That's exactly what you know.
I'm awakened, though. I know this guy and his reputation with portals.
Yes, you do.
Yes, but
Anyway,
remember,
I made
those are dream memories.
I made it anyway. 22.
I know his
26.
propensity to thinking with portals.
I rolled a sanity as well because Gora's probably in the room, like having food with some of the locals.
Did you fail?
Did you fail?
Yeah.
You're a really sane character, too.
rolled an 83.
I like how I've got a 55 sanity and I've succeeded more sanity rolls than you.
I succeeded.
So you, part of what's going on is that you're not only caught by surprise, you're drugged up, and like you're having trouble differentiating between hallucinogenics and reality right here, and it's messed up your brain. So take 3 points of sanity.
That's okay.
Gora looks up
and
figures it out.
the natives all jump back. There's a variety of yells and surprise, except for Solace, who just goes like,
You figured it out.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yes.
I just tell everybody to calm down.
Sufficiently advanced science is indistinguishable from magic, etc., blah, blah, blah. Doctor, you seem to have gotten yourself hurt, I say as I move over towards the medical.
Yes, he has.
Punctured lung.
I want to take a look at him and see, just sort of assess his, with my...
roll me medicine.
I have some amount of medical knowledge, though not as much as he does, obviously. 25, which is 10 more than my 15. Just doing an assessment roll, basically.
Looks like punctured lung, broken sternum. Looks like there was some internal bleeding. He's patched it up. It got stitched up surprisingly well, given that nobody else here would have been able to stitch him up.
Did you do this yourself?
Stitches are not part of first aid.
Yeah.
At least clean stitches aren't part of first aid.
Yeah.
Yeah, not exactly my best job, but I was a little distracted.
I imagine. What happened that gave you a punctured lung?
The stitched happened.
I kind of got tackled by a plant zombie while we were trying to get the shuttle back to this village. Long story.
I had to be his hands for his self-surgery.
Does it look like he'll recover, or does it look like he might need to take advantage of the more advanced medical facilities on board the ship?
Eventually.
So, as far as medical technology, you don't know how much of a difference it would make, but Tarn has a... Roll me a cult.
Tarn does magic.
66, which is higher than my 54.
Tarn does some weird stuff, and you're not sure how much of what Tarn does is medicine?
Would it help to have a separate medical officer aware of your predicament, and perhaps some more advanced tools than we have on the shuttle?
Separate
Maybe.
There's only one other medical officer, isn't there?
One other medical...
There are other medical officers, but
There's
you
only one-
know
there's only
what
one-
he
there's-
means.
yeah. There's only one of import. That seems like a bad idea.
I'd rather die.
You might.
Yes, which is why I very much had to give some thought to the idea.
Are there any utensils or tools that might be back on the ship that would aid you in fixing yourself then?
There's not going to be utensils or tools. There's going to be
A suite.
access to a medical bay. There's not like anything that you could throw over your shoulder and take back.
I mean...
Other than getting there yourself.
I guess?
I'm pretty certain I couldn't take him with me through it. Actually...
You'd have... First of all...
actually, I have another experiment I'd like to try.
Sure.
Gora, could you come here for a second?
Sure. It's either
I
going to
don't
work
think
or
I
it's going
can
to go
misty
poorly.
step that far.
I'm gonna. Would you mind if I hold your hand?
Sure.
I'm gonna hold Gora's hand. I'm gonna try to walk back through the portal with Gora, like attached.
All right, so you distinctly see this sort of like hazy red
Yeah.
oval. Gora,
You want to try putting the watch between our hands before
you
do
do not
this?
see anything. Also, she's the one who saw the watch.
I'm aware that he has it, though.
Oh, you are aware.
Yeah, they had a conversation about it.
Yeah. The watch doesn't seem to appear any different to people who aren't me. So I don't know if that would have any effect.
I mean, is it the thing that does the thing?
Not necessarily. It's the thing that allows me to control the thing.
You want to put it between us before you?
I'll put the watch in the hand that's holding Gora's hand.
Okay.
See if it does anything, and see if I can pull Gora through with me. Basically, is what I'm trying to
You walk right through, and suddenly there's not a hand holding yours.
do. Okay.
Nope, didn't do anything.
And I
There
see
is
if
a
I can come
hand
back
holding
through.
yours, but not a body.
That's what I was expecting.
Disembodied hand.
Ouch.
I'll come back through.
Gora, you now no longer have a hand.
Solace is going.
As I'm just bamfing in and out of this room.
Solace is going to walk up to you. I see that you've discovered how to use that portal.
I have discovered the basic functionality of the portal insofar as I can make it work for me specifically. Yes.
Then you are skilled in the same practices that the old master was.
Was this old master different from Garjan?
Master on Earth.
Oh.
The one who created the portal.
I mean, I don't
Back
like
in
the
the
idea of being
1860s?
associated with that individual, but yes, I guess.
So the secrets survived beyond Earth.
Well, yes. Secrets have a way of doing that.
Yes. It seems very hard to keep a secret secret.
Hey, Galadier.
Yes.
This letter wasn't meant for you, but I'm curious if it means anything to you. I'm going to try and show him the letter.
Roll me Cthulhu Mythos.
Hey! I have a 5% chance on that.
Yeah.
I fail. 87.
Sure is a lot of numbers and mathematical equations and then non sequiturs.
Can it make sense of any of the math?
No. It doesn't look like anything you're familiar with.
So read through it, read through it, read through it, read through it.
It's also addressed.
It's
To
addressed
Yi.
to Yi.
What's his character's? Is Yi his actual?
Yeah,
Yes.
Yitarasu.
Yitarasu.
I can't make any sense of it, but it's addressed to Yi.
Oh, yes, I've given it to Yi already.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't make any sense. Just a bunch of mathematical gibberish.
It's
It's
some...
the equivalent of putting your finger on your lips and just going blah, 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 but with numbers. Am I wrong?
No!
Ow, my lung.
Yeah, don't laugh.
It clearly means something because my father decided that it was worth telling to Yi, and it clearly meant something important.
I assume some sort of... Yi, were you able to make sense of this? What do you mean?
It's very complicated.
More complicated than guiding a ship through space and investigating a planetoid that shouldn't exist,
Actually, yes.
Yeah.
and
I dare
mastering
say-
an aspect of space-time hitherto unknown to science.
It's exactly that, actually. Well, really close. It's complicated.
Is this complicated as in there are societal ramifications, or complicated as in a mechanical complication?
A mechanical complication, I assume, and the fact that, restrictions on human minds or whatever.
Then I assume I'll understand it at some point in my own time.
Or something
That's how it
different.
always happens.
We hope.
Or something different will happen.
Cool. Well, so Reiteration of previous statement, sufficiently advanced science is indistinguishable from magic, etc. I've discovered a way to manipulate the portal that brought the people native to this land from their original locale to it. I can redirect it, as you can... I don't suppose you can see. I can redirect it from point to point. Let me see if I can redirect it from here to a different point. Rather than back to the originating.
Roll me another physics roll.
2.
Alright, so it looks like the other side is anchored.
Okay. I'm able to redirect it from the anchor point, which is the location in the shed in the village itself, from to basically anywhere that I can make a physical calculation.
Roll me occult again.
17, which is much lower than 54.
Yeah. From what you understand, for one side to be the anchor point, that would have to be the side the spell was cast from.
Starts with an S.
Solus.
Solus, yes, thank you. You said that your Master on Earth cast the spell originally?
Yes.
If that was true, then the spell would be anchored to that location, not to the end point. It would have to have been cast from here. Was there anybody here when you arrived?
The entire plantation arrived once.
Was there anybody that didn't belong in the entire plantation here?
Go away.
This was hundreds of years ago.
Does anyone recall? Was Garjan here?
If he was, there is no way to get him to tell you.
He's not exactly talkative. We've tried.
Yeah.
I wonder if I could try. Where is he right now?
He will
Still in the
be
main building.
patrolling if I am here.
I'm not gonna worry you guys about opening airlocks and things. I walk back through the portal. I'm gonna go from the inside of the. I'm gonna go find Garjan.
Congratulations, you've discovered the best airlock ever.
Yeah.
It's not hard to find him. He's walking around the outside of town with that strange green ball on a chain of his.
I'm gonna walk. I'm gonna keep pace with him, and I'm going to cycle through a number of phrases in both English and Latin, and see if it gets any response out of him. I'm just basically cycling through.
Yes, that's my foot.
I'm just basically cycling through esoteric phrases and see if any of them activate him, including while not casting the spell. I am going to use I'm going to go through the phrase for smite that enemy. For smite down that enemy, and then if that doesn't gain a reaction, I'm going to see if he reacts at all to the Boorish sign or to the Elder sign.
All right. I know what the elder sign is. What's the other sign?
The Boorish sign is the sign of a magician.
Yeah.
Basically, it's a sorcerer's sign used to power up other spells.
Okay, that's what
and
it
so
says.
eldritch beings in general recognize it and are wary of it. Like presenting the Boorish sign to an eldritch being will cause it to halt while it tries to figure out what you're trying to do.
Okay.
Things like that.
It's the I'm powering up sign.
Yeah.
Cool.
He's going Super Saiyan.
So when you're going through your you're trying to just a bunch of like esoteric occult style phrases.
Yeah.
Roll me Cthulhu Mythos to see how many of those you know and if any of those might trigger a response.
7, which is 2 higher than my 5. I'm going to spend 2 luck points to make that a success.
All right. You literally open up your book and start glossary style reading out proper names.
Yeah.
He responds when you say Yailor. He stops and looks at you.
So you do recognize what I'm saying. The question is, what does that word have meaning to you? What is the meaning of that word to you?
it just continues to look at you.
Does it seem like it's like I have its attention, or like it's responding in a way like that was an autonomous response?
Roll me psychoanalysis.
Yylor Patagon.
Hi, Laura Photographer.
Sleeps.
It's like psychoanalysis or psychology. Psychology is the read
Oh.
emotions
Yeah,
roll.
psychology. Sorry.
Patagon is sleeps.
65. No, nothing.
In
Yeah.
my
I only
Cthulhu
take
talk.
Looked at you.
Flip through the glossary. Read out a few more words. See if anything else comes through.
It seems the only one in your glossary that.
Try the worst side.
It still seems to be watching you, but it's lifted up the chain a little bit.
In a defensive manner or in a...
It's not a happy-go-lucky I'ma hug you
Okay,
style.
cool. I let go of the sign. Hands up.
Still staring at you.
What, looking back in the book, what is that, the word that he reacted to, can I get a meaning for it?
It's a proper name.
Related to who?
E-I apostrophe L-O-R.
E-I-apostrophe-L-O-R.
Yeah.
Ylor. Is it attributed to anyone in particular, or anything in particular?
It is the way that it's referenced. You're guessing it's a great old one, but it doesn't tell you anything about him. It's mentioned sort of in passing.
Okay.
It's one of the passages about various cults, and it's talking about the cult of Yylor being crushed several centuries past after failing in their attempts.
So I will flip to that page, and I'm going to read out that passage to him and see how he responds.
He simply continues to stare at you as you read out the passage. You read out about the cult of Yylor. It's like a two-sentence. The cult of Yylor grew to prominence in rural farming villages. However, they were unable to gain true hold, and were later crushed out due to a combination of loss of interest and opposing cults.
Is there any cult in particular that's is there like any list of cults that oppose it in particular?
Just keep pulling out of your clothes.
The way that the book suggests means that you're guessing there is one, but it doesn't identify it.
Okay. Cool.
There would appear to be a cult that... Because cults don't typically infight that much unless there's something...
Unless they're
unless they're directly.
Yeah.
So the fact that it was... that other cults was a factor means that there's definitely an enemy. You just don't know who it is.
So, either you're the enemy of Yylor or occultists, or associated with Yylor. The farming community nature of this location would seem to indicate either of those possibilities. You react to that name but to nothing else, which means you understand what I'm saying, or at least you understand aspects of it. I'm wondering if that's part of a command phrase. And if it is, I wonder if there's a way to redirect your attention. Ylor Guardian.
Continues to stare at you.
So it doesn't...
No,
its name being associated with it doesn't trigger any
doesn't seem to
response.
trigger any response.
Okay. Ylor Solus. Any response there?
You say Ylor Solus.
Oh no.
Experimentation!
Does he believe you?
I don't know. I don't even know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm just trying words and
Hopefully
seeing
he
what
doesn't
happens.
walk into the ship and kill Iowa.
The creature's head turns. It definitely registered something, but it's like it's got that sort of like intrigued by what you're saying, but not sure what to make of it look.
Okay. So you do understand what I'm saying, or at least you understand the words that I am saying, whether or not you can put them together using the English language.
Oh, and to clarify, it had no difference in response between English and Latin when you were
Yeah.
shouting, when you were giving out more basic phrases.
I need to find more instances of these wording. I'm looking through the book, seeing if there is any word that is a direct translation from this language for, like, stop or friend.
No, you wouldn't have anything in there that's gonna...
Okay.
No sort of occult means of saying that.
I'll be back. I'm going to go back to the ship.
Actually,
What?
roll me...
Occult?
Yeah, roll me occult.
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
And Latin.
Yeah, my phone keeps talking about
43 on the occult.
Mm-hmm.
19, which is one above my 18 Latin. I'm going to spend one more luck point. So spending one luck point, taking my luck down to 59. I'm going to try to make this pencil work for Latin. So Latin successes.
So, going through the Elder Sign, you recognize the Elder Sign, you're able to look through it, and between your knowledge of Latin and knowledge of what the spell does, you're able to pick out the word dissonant, which means desist, which could, because this it talks about the spell preventing you basically being a command for elder beings to stop, so that may cause a reaction.
Dissonant. Ilor dissonant.
Spontaneously combusts.
Dissonant Ilor. And so basically seeing if any combination of those two words causes a different reaction.
It's causing nothing to happen.
Nothing as in no change? Or
No
nothing
change.
as in nothing, like not doing anything? Okay.
Yeah, no change. I mean, he's not doing anything, right? He's literally just staring at you. He's
Okay.
not moving. Which means that telling him to desist would not do much.
Okay.
Unless he resumed what he was doing.
I'll be back. And I'm going to go back to the
It
ship.
turns and walks off.
I'm going to go back to the ship.
Okay.
Specifically to Solus. Solus, right?
Yes.
What does your name mean? If you know.
My name?
Yes.
Solace. As in, to find solace. Peace.
Has it ever been referred to in a different manner in your history here in this location? Because Garden reacted to a few words, and one of them was your name. I'm not certain if it reacted to your name as in you or your name as in its meaning.
All of the people here are named after things. Our names all have meaning.
Are any of them named Ilor?
Roll me psychology.
I'm in the same room. Can I see the reaction to this?
Roll me spot.
76.
To see if how much
No.
attention you're paying.
Oh, that's a 21. Yeah, that works.
All right, you see them talking. You can roll me listen to see if you can hear exactly what they're saying.
Well, listening. Okay.
Yeah.
21.
Oh, you made it?
Yeah.
So you hear that part,
Finally.
and you hear him say, Ilor, and you catch the... roll me psychology.
Psychoanalysis or psychology?
Psychology is the sense emotion
Yeah.
roll. Psychoanalysis.
You're not trying to analyze her. You're just trying to get her immediate emotional
Yeah,
state.
psychoanalysis is the role you do to restore people's sanity.
Spend 1 luck to bring that 71 down to a 70, which succeeds.
Ah!
She definitely recognized something, and she's trying to hide it. Like there was a flicker in her eyes, and a slight move of her head, but she's not doing anything. You didn't notice it.
Yeah.
You did.
So I've determined there are a few phrases in particular that I've found that Guardian responds to, but I'm not certain exactly what the responses entail. I'm trying to get more to see if it's a programming or if it's a instinctual reaction like an animal might have. He's definitely recognizing the words that I'm saying. They're not able to parse them in the languages that I'm using, I've determined.
You speak very strangely.
He's a scientist. It's his job.
He understands language, just not mine.
As far as we know, he understands everything going on. It is getting him to respond that is the problem.
Well, I've gotten him to respond, just not to my language.
What language, then?
Well, old, ancient languages, the sort of languages whose names are long forgotten but are still written about. Which is why I've been hoping that there was perchance a different meaning to your name, or names that have significant different meaning. Ilor being a name from this ancient language in particular.
None that I am aware of.
If you know anything, it would greatly help us.
Well,
Both us and yourselves. Any aid you can give to us will be sure to return in kind. However we can. If you do know anything about this Ilor, we need to know.
where...
Roll me persuading.
Where is my persuading? There's my persuading. I'm good at persuading,
Persuade!
which means my 88 still passes because I have a 95%.
You're as good at persuading as I am at killing.
I have crummy rolls, but I'm sticking to my element.
Come
There
with
was
me.
one time that I didn't. So,
Come with me, she says, and she leads you to the cockpit.
I'll stand a little blearily on the bed.
Does that bed have wheels?
It doesn't have wheels. You're short of breath
Yeah.
more than anything else
I'll be
now.
fine, just a little winded.
Can I just
And
help him?
walk
As I
through.
see him try to get up, I'll just
Yeah, you can go over
just
and help.
I'm following.
So-
escort him.
You two are already in the cockpit, I believe, because you were.
What,
Yeah,
me?
they were.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was in the cockpit.
Oh, there you are.
and you were writing, so it's just the group of you and Solace.
Right! He's missing. I was trying to remember where our pilot was.
Both of our pilots.
Both?
That's what car.
We'll fill you in on that.
Yeah, so he was a stowaway
Oh, okay. Cool.
that only you knew about. Or wait, no, who knew about him? I'm sorry,
The person
Gora.
that
Gora.
got her on.
Sorry.
Got him on.
No, I said ye. For some reason, I thought you was the one that knew about it.
Are you familiar with the legend of
Zelda?
the Green God?
Am I familiar with the Legend of the Green God?
No.
Not at all.
I mean, you can normally Cthulhu, but I'll give you your 5% chance.
Hey, give me my 5%. It's a 16. No.
Okay, you're not familiar.
Not bad.
Not bad roll. always give you a chance to know.
My previous power roll, would that spark an increase? Was successfully manipulating the portal spark an increase in my power?
Sure.
3!
You essentially learned a new spell.
My power increases by 3!
It's not an insignificant amount.
Well, it's from 55 to 58.
The entirety of my knowledge is that that name was the being that our old master was trying to commune with.
Huh.
Do
Well,
you know anything about whether this was benevolent or not? I
definitely
Most certainly not.
can assume it wasn't.
Green god, like plant green god.
not. Or green is in the color of the gas outside.
We're dealing with a lot of plants right now.
Like
be
one of the
surprised,
gases is green.
Yeah,
isn't
they're
it?
green and gold.
Yeah. Or green is in an entity that is covered in green, such as a large planetoid that doesn't seem to behave in the manner a planetoid should and has a location on it that is referred to as a heart.
Are you implying that the planet itself is the being?
Well, the spell originated from this place, and if it wasn't Guardian, it had to be something else that cast it. And there's nothing else here but you all, Guardian, and a planet that has a heart that turns people into plant zombies.
And some other of Guardian's kind, intermittently. But
Yes, it could have been one of them.
If they react, Guardian seems to be some sort of programmed intelligence. I feel
Yes.
it seems to be going about in very specific, in a very specific cycle. It only responds to very specific words.
specifically, I believe, Gora and Sandra managed to figure out that it's both biological and mechanical. So it's some amalgamation of creature and
It's a guard.
combustion machine,
Specifically, Guardian, whatever his pronouns are, responds to
He. It's always been addressed as a he.
He.
In fact, Sola specifically mentioned that these beings have gender,
Yeah,
but there's no physicality
they're
behind it.
sexless but have gender.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's hard to figure out why because they don't tell you.
Yeah. So he seems to be some sort of sentient program that is operating on a level whose programming code is in a language that we don't know or is lost or I only know bits and pieces of. So I'm hesitant to believe that he would be the source of the spell. It's not impossible if he was programmed to cast the spell, but you say your old master was the one who cast the spell or opened the portal from your end, which would indicate that it's not Guardian who he was calling to. Well, we know it's not Guardian he was calling to. You confirmed as much. The only other being here are the remains of your people and the planet itself. So, unless there is something else I'm missing, or unless the gas is sentient, which we haven't ruled out yet, it's possible that something with a place called the heart is not a metaphorical term. Have we been to the heart?
Well, we have a theory that that's where Wynn and Card have been taken.
That's where we're going to go, or some of us.
We
are
also
going.
have a theory that
Yeah,
that's
we're
where
gonna-
they stitch up these little critters
We're
that
gonna
run around
be
and attack
sending
people.
the combat team.
When you
right?
move
Yes.
your portal, is there any way you could move the portal to scout it out before we have to go?
I would have to know where it was. So, if you have any ideas to the exact location of this heart,
We do not venture beyond the gas.
Could you just
We only
send
know
the
the
portal
direction.
in a regular direction and see if you could
no, I
find
can,
it?
I can point it,
Hit or
at
miss.
I can point it at a space-time coordinate. But I would need that space-time coordinate, or need to be able to work out that space-time coordinate. Like if we assume that the heart is on the other side of the planet, I could do that. If we assume the heart is in the middle of the planet, I could do that. Without an assumption as to the location, I can't.
We know-
I'm missing variables.
At least the general direction, I believe, the way that they always retreat.
Yes.
Perhaps taking that direction and just moving the portal forward in several meter increments.
I'm gonna say,
It
how-
takes
how-
you several
It
minutes.
takes
Take a
takes
while.
several minutes for me to finagle the endpoint. I
Never
could
mind
do
that.
that, but it would be hours and hours and hours and hours.
Some
of
of us
time.
would
That we
stop
don't
reading.
have, yes.
At which point, well, if we assume our two pilots as a loss, then I can certainly do that.
At the very least, we shouldn't be assuming Card is a loss.
Well then,
We need to leave soon, if we want to stop
so
before.
you're in Gnome. Is there anything portable back at the ship that you could use to get yourself like some adrenaline or something that you might use to get yourself moving a little bit better?
We've already
Okay,
established we're
fine.
just going to send out a combat team, people who are actually combat capable.
Yes.
There's nothing that's going to get me on my feet enough to follow along.
Okay. Well,
I mean, you could bring like a dune buggy.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
could I adjust the size of the portal?
You're not sure what you can bring through at this point. You brought an inanimate object through before, though.
I have a theory. Give me 30 minutes and then we'll go. And I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna see if I can.
Signal over to Goran. Is there anyone else awakened on the ship?
Not that I'm aware of.
I'm gonna go back and see if I can direct the portal
just
into the cargo bay, or wherever the vehicle, wherever a
Yeah.
buggy might be at.
It'd be on the
He's not awakened to
the shuttle bay.
radar, but he's aware.
All right. Takes you a couple minutes, but you're able to do. Roll another physics check.
Oh,
just to,
are you having the discussion as to whether or not Galadier is awakened or aware?
No, we're talking about is there
No.
anyone else awakened on the
Okay.
ship?
I was
Okay.
talking about assets, not liabilities.
you mean you're pretty sure Tarn knows what's up?
I'm talking about assets, not
That's a
liabilities.
conversation that happened.
I want to see if I can get. No.
Yeah,
forget
sure,
it.
why not?
I want to
mean,
see if I can finagle
He's dangerous, but he's also given us what we needed to see.
a vehicle through the gate.
All right.
Jin had his reasons for destroying.
Oh, I agree.
Uh,
Very dangerous, but
So you're wanting to make the gate big enough to drive it through.
Yeah.
Him and Darjin won't mix. Let's not test that.
Roll me power. This is going to cost you some more power points.
26.
All right. Cost you 2 more power points.
Or magic points.
Magic points. Yeah, sorry, magic points, not power points. And you're able to find a way to move it and expand it a bit.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna. Is there anybody in the cargo bay?
No.
Or in the vehicle bay? Okay. I'm just gonna walk in. Do these things have keys or are they self-starting? I assume they wouldn't have keys because who's gonna.
Yeah.
Who's gonna
What are you
steal
gonna?
one?
Where are you gonna take
Yeah,
it?
where are you gonna take it?
Another planet.
Turns out. Drive it through.
You're gonna steal. There's a couple sizes of them. They're all in storage. There's a couple sizes from one-man scout ones that are kind of they're similar to motorcycles,
I want to bring 2
Oh,
motorcycles and a larger one through.
and then there's there's ones that are the size of this motorcycle. There's like go-kart size and there's Jeep sized.
2 motorcycles and a Jeep.
Well, we need a Jeep.
2 motorcycles, one for the 2 of you, and a Jeep.
All right.
And they're just gonna ride them out of the barn and park them near the shuttle.
So roll me occult.
38.
All right. So you get on the motorcycle, you drive through, and you fall on your butt as you appear on the other side of the portal without a motorcycle. Then you think about it. You walk back over to the other side. What's your strength?
35.
What's your size?
60. Or 60.
So you're average sized.
Can I like roll it through rather than riding it through?
Yeah, you're thinking that if you were to be the one who is powering this through, it might work.
Okay. So I'm gonna roll it through and see.
All right. So roll me the average of your strength and size. I don't know what that's going to. So 35 and 60.
I mean, putting it into neutral and rolling it wouldn't be that
Well-
difficult.
I'm gonna roll my con, maybe?
Yeah. Roll your con.
6.
All right. So you roll it up to the portal, and you're not like slinging it over your back, but it's
Yeah.
probably about a 150-pound bike.
Yeah, I'm not lifting this thing.
So, well, you think it'll work best if you get up under it and you lift the wheel up, and so you're technically carrying it when you go through because pseudoscience.
Yeah.
And
Loopholes.
you're carrying it, it comes through with you.
Actually, those ATC 90s back in
Jeep's
the
going
70s,
to be harder.
They're 200 pounds, and I was able to throw one one-handed
I mean,
in an emergency situation.
yes, when you got adrenaline going.
Yes.
You're also...
So I'm get them through, ride the motorcycles over to the shuttle, go back, drive the Jeep up to the portal,
Put it in neutral.
put it in neutral, get a jack, lift it up on the jack, and pull the jack through. Because I'm the one, there can be no doubt that I'm the one moving the jack, which is carrying the Jeep.
Roll me luck.
Push your luck.
16! Of 59.
Sure. You feel like that shouldn't have worked. It's not internally consistent with how the math works, but it did, so...
And then I'm going to go back and get a couple of repair kits, just in case. A couple of maintenance kits, just in case.
The Jeep's got a full maintenance kit in the
Okay,
back.
cool. That's good. Because I've got the engineering knowledge to put that to use, so. And the mechanic repair knowledge.
Alright, that's what I have the mechanical repairs.
So, I drive the Jeep back over to the shuttle, redirect the portal back onto the shuttle, go back around into the shuttle through the portal, back to the cabin. Right, so, we have 2 scouting bikes and a Jeep to take us where we need to go. We want everyone to come with us. I feel it's important that we all stay together because I really don't want to know what happens when we need medical knowledge and you're not there.
Did you just trip a Jeep through a hole in reality?
No, I pulled a Jeep through a hole.
You just tripped a Jeep through a
Yes.
hole in reality.
Good.
Pulled a Jeep through a hole in reality. It's outside if you want to see it. Well, you need to put a helmet on.
Yeah.
There's windows in the cockpit.
This is on the other side. It's by the cargo bay. Although it would be funny if the ship was
We
facing that way. You guys just saw me driving
Drive
driving
past.
2 bikes and a Jeep.
Yeah. 'Cause the way we pulled up,
Just a slow pan.
I mean, Barn would be closer towards the center of things, and
the way we pulled it in, it would have been nose first, and we would have been able to see out the cockpit, watch him come.
Very, very
drive it
possible.
up.
Yeah.
No.
No,
He drove it past.
you drove... you dragged the shuttle in backwards.
Oh, did we?
Oh.
Yeah.
Shucks.
It was, because...
That's right. We
It was
came in
easier to
behind.
control,
So,
Oh, with
because you braced it against the
heels.
2 back legs instead of the
Got
front
it. Yeah, you're right.
leg.
so yeah, if everyone will put on our suits and things, we have a means to travel. And like I said, I'd prefer us staying together, not just mostly because if there's ever an instance where we absolutely need somebody's knowledge and they're not there, I can't do that from anywhere other than where that door is located in the barn.
The problem with that is we also then have several targets sitting in a Jeep.
Though I can actually hook it to the Jeep. It'll go with the Jeep theoretically.
You're not sure how that would work.
I'm not sure how it would work, but it'd be fun to try.
When's that ever stopped him before?
Experimentation is the heart of science. But anyways, we have vehicles.
Necessity is the first cousin of invention.
So yes, we should probably get access to our
How
pilots.
quiet are these vehicles?
They're probably battery powered.
Yeah, they're battery powered.
So really quiet.
So they're quiet? Okay.
Yeah.
Aside from the noise they make going over the ground.
I mean, yeah, but they're no louder than us walking.
They're quieter than the horses were by a lot.
Quieter than horses.
And the Jeep is big enough to run over.
Like
Stitches.
you've been near my car when I pull out. It's not that loud.
And the noise that comes from that, they actually artificially add noise to those things
Yeah.
so that you know it's on.
Yeah. So that people nearby know it's on.
Yeah, it's like it makes it sound an RC car does.
So, while not quiet, not super loud, and the sound it makes does not betray what it is. Especially when you're on a planet where they have no idea what it is in the first place.
You assume.
They're capable of going about 60 to 70 kilometers an hour.
Do they have generators in the back in case they start running low on power?
No,
Okay.
you have to plug them into the shuttle,
So we're going to need to be able
which
to
is running on emergency power and probably won't charge them.
Yeah.
But they have a days of charge.
Yeah, they're fully charged at the moment.
They'll run about 24 hours.
Okay. Well, we've got people making parts right now, well, eventually, soon, to fix the actual power supply on the shuttle. So,
I could probably get a spare.
would I know where the spares would be? Like spare
In the
parts?
shuttle bay.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can get to the shuttle bay, I can indicate which parts we need replacements of.
It'd still take a couple hours to disassemble and reassemble the engine, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I can get the parts rather than having other people make them.
Yeah, you can stop from making them. Just
Yeah. If you'd rather skip that part, I can get those parts.
Yeah, just get the parts. I'll put them together later.
Let's go ahead and get everyone ready to go, so that when I get back with the parts, we can just put those down together.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
all right. So,
GM, I do that.
what are the rest of your preparations for you guys?
Make sure the gun's fully loaded, fully charged.
The shuttle will not charge while it's on emergency power.
Oh. Okay.
I'm
How many
going
how many shots do I have?
Getting the gun.
About 10.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to get like some of the like medicine stuff and try to run as much of the medicine as possible by Garjin. See if Tarn is being a jerk about any more of this stuff.
He has no reaction to it.
Cool.
What about you, Sandra?
Getting all of her gardening supplies. All the ones that would be useful.
All right. All of your...
Heavy duty
Chainsaws.
Chainsaws and...
I mean, you...
She's
What do
using...
you use for gardening?
Chainsaws.
Legitimately chainsaws.
Yeah, legitimately chainsaws.
Hedge trimmers.
She used one of those last week.
Head trimmers.
Well, no, last time she used gardening shears. You legitimately have
Yeah.
a chainsaw.
Oh, well, if I have that, it's coming.
Chainsaw is a weapon, and it has its own fighting skill.
Yeah,
It's in.
I think it's like a 20% base.
I've got access to it. I'll pull it up.
I think it's either a 15 or 20% base to hit.
It does things.
Yeah, there's actually fighting chainsaw.
Yes. So you can put that right here. Weapon chainsaw, regular. I think it's 15 or 20.
I'm looking it up.
Yeah.
So the military railers do 40-10, right?
Yeah, they do a lot.
Is their range the same as a regular railer?
Yes.
15 yard.
What am I putting for it?
You find out when to go. Mute your phone. Mute your phone.
Sorry. Why am I getting all these calls from different parts of Georgia?
Debt collectors.
No, they're
We don't have debts.
I mean, it doesn't matter. They'll still call you.
They'll still call you to try to collect on a debt that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
No, there's
Absolutely.
Also, there's
That's
also the,
half the calls I get are debt collectors, and the other half are debt collectors for debts I don't have.
Car's
And
warranty.
it's 2d8 damage
For the chainsaw.
for the chainsaw.
What's the base to hit?
20%
20%.
with a malfunction of 97.
So if you roll 97 or higher, it does things bad.
Okay, wait, where am I putting all this?
Okay, so put 20 right here in regular. Hard makes that 12.
Is it actually just fighting skill chainsaw?
And extreme makes that 4.
Yes.
One attack,
Yes.
and malfunction is 97. Malf is 97.
Because I know there's brawl and then there's a couple other fighting skills and
What's the
chainsaw is just
ammo
by itself.
on a chainsaw?
None.
Chainsaw.
What? I, don't,
It's like the chainsaw in Doom. It just keeps going.
I want a chainsaw that can shoot chainsaws.
That's like you would have done with chainsaws.
It's a gun. For
No, she wants a
no,
chainsaw
I want a
that launches chainsaws.
That can shoot chainsaws.
Thwaka, thwaka, thwaka.
Like imagine a chainsaw, but every
knives,
single
not
little.
swords.
It shoots swords. He says it shoots swords.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's like a chainsaw, but every little chain link is another tiny chainsaw.
And you can press a button to release one of the tiny chainsaws.
That becomes very ineffective very quickly.
It becomes amazingly
Because
effective.
a chainsaw is already an incredibly effective thing. Over-engineering the chainsaw makes it less effective.
I did
But more
just
awesome.
learn, though, John, that a gun that shoots knives is the name of a band.
Nice.
Anyway, so you've got you've got a chainsaw plus a variety of other plant-related things.
I feel like the quote is a gun that shoots knives, because knives just sounds
No,
right.
it's a gun that shoots swords.
Is it really? That's weird.
You also do have some plant poisons,
Ooh, excellent. Bringing that.
but that's one of those things that the plants have to absorb. It's not going
it's
to be an
spray.
instant reaction.
Well, just in case.
And you always have your
might.
other means of messing up plants,
So
but
I have gotten out of
Just
my
in case you
bulky
need to,
suit,
you
by
know,
the way.
Yeah.
round up the heart or
I don't
anything.
need it.
Yes. Yeah, the poison's
So Gallagher has rolled up his sleeves, and you all now can see that there is a series of tattoos on his inner forearm that look like weird, like unknown language tattoos that are in specific arrays.
all right.
All right.
Kyle, you doing anything?
Yeah. Don't really think there's much I can do.
All right.
See if I'll
Those
just
are
ask around,
knives,
see if
though.
anyone could use a hand with anything,
Actively shooting knives.
help carrying anything that's not too large.
Is there
It's still cool.
is there anything I could do that would like could double as some kind of armor type of thing? Like at the very least, so I'm not blatantly incredibly fragile.
You
Or
could
as blatant.
you could wear the bulky spacesuit, like the environmental suit. It's meant for spacewalks and deflecting small flying space debris. It would be decently defensive, but it makes it really hard to move with any agility.
You're not moving with agility anyway. You may as well sit in
You're
the
gonna be
Jeep.
sitting. Yeah,
You can sit in the back of the Jeep and...
You're just going for a ride.
Because I don't have the cardio to keep running anyway right now.
Right, yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead and
Cardio.
go with that.
By the way, you're the wrong kind of tanker to build this, but
All right. So what you've got?
I want one.
I love the. I just love the image of everyone in their exosuits and me with my sleeves rolled up.
Yep.
And the helmet down.
So everybody else is wearing basically a wetsuit. You're wearing your clothes, and you're wearing like a NASA spacesuit.
I think I'm still wearing like the wetsuit, but the gloves are off.
It's
and the
good.
sleeves are rolled.
Defeats the purpose.
Yeah.
And so Zachary, while you're wearing this, your movement speed is reduced by 2.
Cool.
And you make dodge rolls at half. But it has an armor rating of 3.
I mean, to be fair, that only reduces my dodge by 10.
Yes. All right. Are you all ready to go?
So where do I put armor ratings?
There's no place on the sheet.
Okay.
Is everybody ready to go?
I suppose. Yeah.
All right. As you start to load up, Garjin walks up to you, Gora. And where's your knife currently?
it's in her boot.
Garjin reaches down, grabs your leg, pulls the knife out of your boot. Shoves it into his chest, walks out into the gases, gone for about a minute, and then walks back with your knife. Except it's got a golden blade now.
I'll take it.
Sick.
Can I tell what happened?
The golden blade is the same as Solace's
It's similar to Solace's weapon, yes.
weapon. Thank you.
Can I tell what that is? Or have I had any chance to study the weapons that they have, the golden weapons?
Only Solace has it, and she ain't letting you touch it.
Can I see that?
I know what it does.
I don't.
The stuff is made out of the green material, like his mace. His mace builds up mass.
Gold material.
No, I'm explaining both.
Okay.
The green material, like his mace, builds up mass as he swings it. This one stops energy of things that come into contact with it.
Yeah, it's what you've learned about the. I mean, you know what the
so
gases
it's
do,
the gas ability. Okay, cool. Oh, okay.
but it appears that Garjin has the ability to,
compress the gas into the blade. Got it.
yeah, have some ability to solidify this and.
Got you. Okay, understood. That's very useful. Okay.
Which means this can now stop bullets. This is amazing.
Yes.
Inertia canceling only violates a few laws of physics. So.
I mean, it violates the number 1 law of energy conservation.
Yeah.
It's kind of a fundamental law of physics.
Yep. It only violates a couple laws. It's fine.
It's cool. The green one violates it in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
So they cancel each other
I've
out.
always wondered what happens if one meets the other. It's just infinite energy transfer.
As far as you can tell, oh, you did have a chance to study the gases, and you learned a couple interesting things. Number one, the atmosphere in here and the water vapor and stuff, the line of gas makes a hard line around the area where like the water vapor won't leave this area.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
bubbling in all the gases here. And so as far as you can tell, they absorb waves and reflect particles, but they have a really weird interaction with light, because light is both a particle and a wave.
Yeah.
So what it seems to do is they absorb all the light
And then re-emit.
and then re-emit it.
Yeah.
And the same thing with heat.
That's why it's ambient heat.
That's why
all
there's
around.
ambient heat all around and a consistent amount of light.
The heat I'm also not affected by anymore, right?
It's still warm, but like 104 degrees is perfectly survivable for a
Yeah.
human. It's just not super comfortable, but you feel like you could get used to it.
Yeah. But like I've basically been magically altered to adapt to this planet.
Yes. You are, I mean, you're all really sweaty, but
Yeah.
there's worse smelling things on this planet than the sweat, so.
And I've got my sleeves rolled up, so I'm a little bit cooler now.
Yeah.
Let that wake you.
Actually, and you're perfectly cool because your suit's temperature controlled.
Woo!
Cheater.
I
Alright.
mean, you know what? You know what?
All right. Well, I
Okay.
guess I'll drive the Jeep so long as we're not required to do anything fancy.
Sounds good to me.
And you two get the motorcycles.
Can I handle a motorcycle?
Who gets some motorcycles?
I mean, you can.
Okay, good.
So
Sorry, I thought
you
you
don't
were
you don't
fighting-
need to make a driving roll as long as you're just driving.
Just yeah, right. It's
I've got
maneuvers.
a little bit of drive auto just because I figured
Yeah, I know.
that might be something you could
I
use.
know, but
Yeah. You only have to make a drive auto roll if
Stuff.
you're trying to perform some sort of activity, either complicated driving maneuver or to perform a
Defensive
complex
driving.
action
which is
while
what
you're
we're gonna
driving.
have to do. I mean, because
I mean, I've got a little bit of drive auto.
being able to shoot from a motorcycle is not going to be real simple.
You just have to stop and then shoot.
That's not what I want to do.
I have a 40% chance to do that.
And again, none of these devices are designed to go super fast. Like I said, they're
Right,
about
yeah, well,
60 to 70 kilometers an hour, which is equivalent to about 40 miles an hour, 40 to
which is
45.
fine. I mean,
We don't need to go at highway speed against things that are just
walking.
running at
Yeah,
us.
these things.
Yeah.
But if
it'll
what
be
if you want
fine.
to run them over?
You
I
don't
mean,
run
with a
things over with a
Jeep, yeah.
motorcycle typically, and
Then you run
40
them over
miles
and
an hour
the
is-
chainsaw is there at the other end.
No,
40 miles an hour is quite sufficient to run over a person.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Or do a drive-by kick or something.
Drive-by
Okay.
chainsaw.
Oh, I just thought of an interaction that we might come up against later.
Actually,
We couldn't outrun a cheetah at a sprint, but you know.
You can outrun a horse.
Actually,
Yeah.
Kyle, right?
Yes.
Do you want to drive?
As long as it's,
yeah,
as
just
long as you said, as long as it's not something fancy.
Yeah.
I can do it.
Do you have driving experience? Like,
As much as
you're not
most
gonna
people.
kill us?
Okay, no.
Not
No,
on
just-
purpose.
I feel there are some calculations I need to remember.
We couldn't outrun a horse at a full run, but because horse like maximum horse running speed is 55.
1 horsepower.
55 to 55, depending on what kind of horse it is. It doesn't matter.
But at like a canter, we could definitely outrun a horse.
Anyways, we're getting vehicles to drive.
Okay, let's go.
That's the world record. The average
yeah,
horse
40, 45.
max speed is 25 to 30 miles an hour.
Oh,
We get
thinking
in our
racehorse.
cars and drive.
A cheetah at a sprint can hit about 65.
Where'd the
where'd
the first bag go?
It was delicious.
It's gone. You open that one.
This time it really was.
So, all right, you drive off in your respective vehicles. Most of the villagers go to see you off. They seem mostly curious. Some of them seem concerned, but mostly they just seem curious. Doing the queen wave.
Sure, why not?
Chandra, why are you doing that?
It's fun.
I I could have sworn you called her Chandra for a second there.
Sandra.
Chandra too, so...
It's just Sean Connery saying Sandra's name.
Chandra Nalar. Wait.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no,
it's fun.
don't bring any fire into this atmosphere, please. That would be very bad.
You should try
for
to
all
wave.
of
It's
us.
fun.
Try what?
I wave. It's not a lot of fun.
You're not doing it right.
You're not doing it right. It's gotta be.
There you go. Yeah.
You have to smile. You have to smile.
Yeah, you gotta get into it.
Please don't do that while you're driving the motorcycle, Duncan. I don't want to have to pick you up off the ground.
The difference between twisting my hand and rotating my elbow don't seem to increase the fun.
Okay,
value.
is this a British
Measurable
bike with
value.
the throttle on the left, or is this the one with the like a Triumph, or is it the one with the throttle on the right? It should be the one with the throttle on the right, isn't it?
Let me
Most
think.
most of them are.
Yeah, probably.
So if we do a drive-by scoop of anything, it's going to have to be either a kick or a on the left side.
Let's
Pass
look up
things on the
motorcycle
right.
dune buggies. See what comes up.
Motorcycle dune buggies.
Yeah.
Little three-wheelers.
Yeah.
You just stick your leg out.
Yeah, that's what I was going
Just
to. As long as you're not shifting.
All right. So you drive out, and of course, once you re-enter this strange atmosphere. So once you enter this atmosphere and you're inhaling it, number one, you notice immediately.
I brought the helmet just in case.
Yes. You notice that these weird globs of gas, now that you're feeling them against your skin, you can definitely feel them.
Mm-hmm.
They feel like, you know those weird little gel capsules?
Yeah.
Like...
Oily.
Yeah, but they don't actually leave any residue,
Yeah.
and they're impossibly light, so you don't feel the resistance so much as you feel them sort of roll across you in a discomforting manner. But you don't seem to breathe them. Like, they don't seem to enter you as they roll over you.
Update. It feels like I'm being endlessly smothered by a pillow that's not thick enough to smother me. The back.
Yeah. But it's one of those, like...
By an oily pillow, too.
It's one of those decorative pillows that's got, like, the polyester spandex coating that clearly wasn't designed to actually be comfortable.
There's some wording for the mission report.
Let's see if I can grab
Grab a chunk.
Like, just grab a chunk of gas.
It slips through your fingers as you grab onto it. It's behaving... You can sometimes get the little blobs to split into smaller blobs as you do so.
But I can't get it.
But you can't get anything firmly, because anytime you apply pressure to it, it just splits.
Okay.
It's like oil floating in water, kind of.
Yeah. It's almost exactly like... that's how I originally described it, as oil floating in water.
Yeah.
It's just inconsistent at best in how it seems to respond to being touched. Alright. But... You're riding the buggies. There's pretty much no reason not to drive them at full speed since they're battery operated.
Except visibility.
But...
Nothing we're gonna hit we care about.
That's true.
Yeah, generally speaking, if you're gonna hit something, you probably wanted to hit it.
Aside from,
Yeah.
potential cliff faces.
Well, you find that
Working hard, but I can just put it back together.
you find that the terrain is shockingly smooth.
Okay.
The soil is very consistent. There's no large rocks. It's like Kansas style smooth. And you drive for a good 20 minutes, and there's no real activity before everyone roll me listening.
Oh, there's my bad rolling again.
Made it.
Nope.
28, which is 3 higher than my 25 listen.
23 out of 25.
Aha!
We don't hear anything.
So did you? What?
I rolled 24 out of my 20.
So you two.
I'm going to spend 3 to reduce my luck by 3 to
Alright.
succeed.
So the
Who needs
Face it,
luck?
I have an excuse.
the three of you begin to hear this faint thumping noise coming from within the earth.
Yeah, okay.
Something is thumping. I'll say out loud for the rest of the people in the jeep. What can I tell? Like, I'm just gonna listen to it for a bit and see how rhythmic it is. Is it like a?
It sounds like a heartbeat.
Heartbeat.
It's very,
Pick up the-
it's very soft and bass.
Pick up the helmet and click on the receiver. Does anybody else hear that heartbeat sound?
I do.
Yep.
Can I listen for it now?
It's hard to overhear over the Jeep. They're only barely hearing like the bass of it.
I probably have the best hearing because I'm not wearing a helmet.
Yeah.
Sound like a normal heartbeat, basically?
Can I tell? I'm gonna check the pulse.
The easy way to do it would be to stop and get out of the car
Yeah,
and feel
probably.
it.
Feel it.
Hey, let's
Hitting the-
pull over for a second, everybody.
We're going to the heart, aren't we?
You got it.
Yep.
Yes, we are.
But want to confirm something.
Yeah.
I stopped.
So we put our foot on the ground, and do we feel it?
When your foot is touching the ground, you do feel a faint.
I'm gonna get out of the jeep, put my hand down, pull my watch out, and see if I can check a pulse.
I'll honestly do that as well. See if it's human or if it's something else.
Both of you roll me medicine.
Medicine or
Larger
first aid?
creatures have slower heart rates, so this should have a pretty slow heart rate.
My thought as well, is it trying to mimic a human or does it actually need this? 39 of 63.
Could I make an argument for a first aid roll? Because checking the pulse is pretty basic.
Sure.
Can I also make a first aid roll on that?
Sure.
34, which is 4 higher than my 30 first aid.
56
I'm not gonna spend luck on that one.
56 of 70.
So the two of you,
I have my watch out if anyone wants to use it. So to check the
they have, they can use the
Oh, yeah,
user
they do.
interface in their
That's
helmets.
Yeah,
to-
you got stopwatches on our UIs.
We've got Google Glass.
So you determine that there's actually 2 separate beats here. So there's one that's doing a perfect 60 beats a minute. But you notice that there's a separate underlying rhythm that is beating much slower, probably only about 10 times a minute. And it's sort of it's more that every 10 beats, like the beats you can hear when you touch the ground and listen for it, but there's a dull thud about every 10 of those
So
beats.
there's a regular 60 beat per minute, and then occasionally every 10th or so there's a deeper bass in it.
Yes,
From something else.
there's something that you can feel. Like the other one, you can feel gently in the earth. Like when someone has their bass too loud.
Yeah.
That's the kind of feeling it is.
Actually,
Versus this one feels like something under the earth is pushing against it. You also can tell that you're navigating slightly the wrong direction if you want to get back to the source of it. You feel like you could follow it.
Well, that's supposedly where we're headed. So,
yeah. Okay, so we changed direction.
is it how far off course is that?
Not very. So you're going straight. It's probably about 20 degrees.
Okay, that's a fair enough course correction.
I have an elevated heart rate.
Anything from 60 to 100 is normal. 60 is considered to be really good for a fit, athletic person.
I'm at about 80.
And was it like an uncannily perfect 60?
Yes,
Okay.
like no variance.
So it's probably something mimicking a human, basically.
So with his medical knowledge, would he know? Would he have seen any articles? From the
No, there's
past?
been no articles written
Laura,
about
very nice.
planet.
Well, no. About the
What do you
effect
mean,
of
I'm gonna stab the ground.
of acid rock sounds on
I
heartbeat.
pull my knife out and stab the ground.
Does
from
the
the
ground
past.
bleed, Austin? Or just stab the ground?
You stab, and how long is your knife? Is that about an 18-inch knife?
It's a trench knife, so yeah, about
You get about a foot into the ground before it gets stopped by the osmium layer.
Oh, there's the metal layer. Pull it back out.
Nothing.
A heartbeat inside planets covered in dirt and osmium.
Something trying to emulate a human.
It's a
which is
carapace. The osmium's a carapace. Exoskeleton. Bone structure.
Bark.
bizarre. So we're on the back of a giant turtle, you're saying?
No, we're on the back of a giant. We're on the more like the back of a giant cockroach.
I'm gonna go with giant tree because we're fighting plant things.
I mean, tree. Also. Trees don't have
Let's
heartbeats.
also remember that there's
They actually do.
two different
Not
heartbeats
the one that,
here.
not the one you could perceive.
Not that much, no.
It could potentially be that we're dealing with a creature
Yes.
that has some kind of a plant infection to it. The plants are infecting people. It could be infecting whatever the being is that is the plant.
Yeah, the planet could be a separate entity altogether.
And then the lower heartbeat could be the planet. It sounds like it's deeper. And then the higher heartbeat is the plant, and it's attempting to mimic a human heartbeat for the sake of the human that it's infecting.
Let's assume.
For wild speculations. That's what I'm saying.
We're at the point of wild. We've been at the point of wild speculation since we landed, since we saw this planet from the ship. Let's assume the planet is alive. Let's say it is. Let's say the planet is Ilor, or the or Crator, or whatever they would call it. It's entirely possible that there is a symbiotic structure residing within it that is infesting it in very similar ways that the Stitched are infested with plants. Which would... if the planet requires sacrifices to sustain itself, that would explain the 30-year lifespan of the people on board.
And it could also possibly
And it would also explain
why it wanted to bring a colony of humans here in the first place.
as a sustaining food source on top of itself. The question is, what is the Stitched seem like they are antithetical to that process, which would make sense if that is because they are attacking. Unless I'm misunderstanding, they've been attacking the people that live here, correct?
Yes.
Yeah,
So it's antithetical to the idea of cattle, for the cattle to then come back from the dead and attack the rest of the living cattle. So there's a plant-like substructure inside the planet that is attempting to kill off the food source. What?
A comparison of, yes, because cattle just rise from the dead to, assault their...
In this situation,
Zombie
maybe.
cow.
Do that.
If we're looking at it from the perspective of the planet viewing people as a food source, it wouldn't make sense for the planet to then bring the dead food source back to life as these Stitched in order to kill the living food source. So
It's
it is
infested.
entirely
It's
possible,
infested
yes,
somehow.
that it is infested
So
by
we
some
have
sort of
to
plant
find the
entity.
plant and...
It's like those parasites that replace the tongues of fishes and then they eat all the food that was supposed to be eaten by the fish.
Exactly. Kind of. Not really.
Why not?
Sorry. That's just my favorite affirmative, but not. it's to slowly degrade into a negative.
I think we should move further in.
Let's
Yes.
keep moving.
Keep an eye out
This is
for
ourselves.
Course correcting this way. So.
keep an eye out for any plant substructure that is bursting from the ground.
Terrifying plant stitched monsters
can-
that are trying to kill us.
Well, those can be anywhere. The plant substructure would be the thing that we're actually looking for.
Anything out of the ordinary.
That's everything around us.
That's pretty much... That's him.
Anything.
I point back to myself.
The person who's breathing methane.
Pay attention to anything that isn't the regular gas and dirt, basically.
Okay, here we go.
All right, you drive for
I course correct.
only a
Yeah.
couple more minutes before you do indeed find a string of vines running along your course.
Plant substructure.
Let's kill him.
With what?
His knife. Her poison.
Poisoning-
Let's
poisoning-
stop and see if
Poisoning the extraneous tendrils won't necessarily do anything. However, it would provide us a sample of
yeah,
what they-
Now,
we want to take a
to
sample.
clarify,
Before we-
this plant structure looks different from other plant structures. It is black.
Sandra,
Yes.
Black.
can you analyze this? Point at the black vines.
Sure.
I'm gonna stop.
Now, the stemming of it is brown as normal, but the leaves are growing black and they're spined.
Different
And it
wavelength
has-
of light to absorb, possibly.
It has the feelers that most like ivy and vines do, and the feelers are digging into the dirt.
She's gonna try to take a clipping of this.
Maybe don't let that get too close.
What are you taking a clipping of the vine itself?
The vine
Yes.
or the leaf or
All right. What are you taking a clipping with?
Probably the
The
Shears?
your
Shears.
shears, your
Yeah.
handheld shears.
I got my gun ready in case.
I have my knife ready.
It's real hard. Doesn't clip.
Use the knife.
As fun as it is to crank up a gasoline-powered chainsaw, this is electric.
It's electric.
And if it was gasoline, you'd kill us all.
Yes. Don't activate a combustion engine in a methane atmosphere.
Well, maybe one way to take
Sure. Roll me damage. 2d8.
8.
There you go.
1d8. There's 2d. Wait, I don't need 3
I'll show you.
11 damage. I can't math.
You shove it right through, and you cut the vine at the vine source. It's still got its feelers holding into the ground.
Okay.
What does your expert botanical knowledge tell you about this plant?
Is it a
When you
woody-
cut it,
Is it a woody stem?
a black ochre seems to bleed out of it.
Well, that's not normal.
Now you gotta.
Like, it's not a lot, it's just a small drip. Well, it's not abnormal when you cut a fresh plant for it to
Yeah, for
leak
it to
some
leak.
sort of sap or fluid. It's just usually water.
It's usually water.
But there's
It's usually-
not
if it's clear,
water
it's drinkable.
here.
Water, sugar water.
Also,
it's sometimes sugar water.
over the just clicking the button on the recon, Gora and what's her name? Duncan.
Yeah.
Gora and Duncan, if you two could keep an eye out in case anything decides to come and kill us
I'm
while we're
looking.
investigating.
That's
this.
fine.
Yes, that's what we're doing.
Roll me arborism or botany.
Fine.
Arborism.
Science botany.
18 of 90.
Yeah.
Alright. So, number one, whatever this black stuff is, it's definitely what this outer vine is bringing back to the root structure.
Okay.
It's definitely traveling up the xylem as would be normal for a vine. You also suspect that it is... you suspect that based on your knowledge of plants, what's being absorbed doesn't have to be black. You think that whatever is in these leaves, whatever the chemical reaction here is, turning what's being absorbed from the feelers black as it goes up. Because you can see there are varying, as you examine more closely, there's the thicker part of the ochre, which is jet black, and there's thinner parts that spill out that seem to be sort of a weird bronzy color, like tarnished brass.
So whatever this black stuff is, it's taking it back to the root.
Okay.
And you could, if you as you follow the feelers down, if you cut the feelers, it's all this tarnished bronze that's being sucked.
Okay, so originally whatever is being sucked up is not black; it's more of a bronze.
Okay.
And
it's
you
turning
can show them
black.
that liquid, and it's
Yeah.
this liquid is much oilier.
Can I make a chemistry check on it?
Sure, you can chemistry it. Do you have chemistry?
Yep.
I do not.
I do. 47
Botany, biology.
out of 50.
astronomy.
So
With what you have on hand, it's definitely related to this golden gas.
Okay.
It's a similar sort of substance, and it appears to be somehow it appears to have the osmium suspended in this gas, and the way that the two combined have created what, while it looks like a liquid, it's not. It is a gas that has suspended osmium, so it's heavy, so it pours.
Okay.
But yes, and you're determining that it is being soaked up, and some sort of chemical reaction in the leaves is performing a conversion process on this. And as you pull it out, you're not sure what this black ochre is. It definitely has those metal bits in it. It definitely has that golden stuff in it. But there's nothing in here that would be nutrient for a regular plant. In fact, you're pretty sure this would kill most plants.
So, in your professional opinion, looking at the things that this plant is eating, do you have any idea whether or not your normal plant killers would even work on this?
Do I?
You have no clue.
Not sure.
It's definitely functioning like a plant should, but with different materials. It actually reminds you of how he's breathing. He's breathing like a normal person should. He's just breathing different things.
Reminds me of how you're breathing.
The only difference is that normal plants don't turn their... normal plants actually do turn their liquid green because the amount of the chemical leaches into it.
So it's a plant that has been transformed on the cellular and basic fundamental levels in order to repurpose its traditional food substances of water and light for this gas with metal suspended in it and less different kind of light.
From everything I can tell, I mean, it's acting like a normal plant would.
Can you tell if it has any similarities to an earth plant? If it got taken here along with the plantation and mutated through the portal, or if it was something else?
Can I tell that?
Roll me botany.
Completely.
At the same time, could I, using the idea that it might be a regular plant that's been changed, could I imagine whether or not that would change its resilience to plant killers? Like, can I assume I don't have any additional resilience to the things that kill humans, other than methane?
But it depends on what the plant killer's attacking.
Yeah.
You don't know what the plant killer's doing.
3 of 90.
3 of 90. You would ask me a question. What was the question?
Is it like an earth plant?
Is it like...
Like it's
so
derived from.
So
Yeah,
it
does it
definitely
look like it came
definitely
over with the
looks
plantation?
like it's the sort of plant like a kudzu or that sort of thing where it has a central root structure, but each of these feelers is actually creating another root structure that clones itself over and over again and expands rather than by germinating and creating regular seeds. However, the leaves don't match. The leaves are closer to a holly bush. It's abnormal. Usually
Shut up, Zach.
Usually it's the vines that develop the thorns, the woody stem, because the woody thorns are more effective. Most vines don't develop spines on the leaves. That's generally an attribute reserved for bushes.
I don't think it was brought over with the plantation.
Oh, hey, Antitonic. We've got a strong buzz, not drowning anyone out completely, but gets close
I will stop buzzing.
for the quieter part of people's speech.
Is it just sort of passive, like, does it sound like an electronic buzz, or does it sound like something in the room is buzzing? Give it 30 seconds.
There you go. Your phone hiccuped.
So you were...
Yeah, sorry, I was responding to him. It doesn't look like it came over. It looks more like a bush.
electronic and constant.
Electronic and constant?
Is it on Phantom Power?
We're not on Phantom Power.
Let me know if that changed anything.
That would be consistent.
Sandra, can you take... Can we isolate a section of this, the extraneous root structure, and experiment with any of the plant killers that you have and see if they have any effect at all on it?
Oh, I can try.
Because it won't. It's unlikely that it'll take it all the way back to the heart of the plant. That's not what I'm hoping
heck
for.
yeah.
But I would like to see if if the things we brought will have any effect at all.
There was a blip, and then and then back to the buzzing.
But back to buzzing.
No, we want to fix the audio. We appreciate people telling us.
Yep.
I can definitely try that.
I mean, you can take the cutting you took. It will continue to try to absorb nutrients for a little bit.
Was the buzzing
she's-
better or worse?
She's going to take some of the plant killer and...
Try to get it to feed. So it's definitely absorbing the plant killer, and it's feeding it up. It would take extended periods to determine how well it's working, but it's definitely absorbing the plant killer. And from what you know about the plant killers you have, let me see, how do plant killers work?
There's two different kinds.
So there's a couple different ways that they can work. Oftentimes it will, most common ways is to sterilize the plants to stop them from spreading and then it just die out naturally. But another one is a protein inhibitor that prevents the plant from being able to grow and nourish itself. And if the protein is inhibited, it should stop it regardless of how it's obtaining nutrients.
Did we get a better or worse?
So you would guess it will work.
I'm guessing it'll work. It'll take a while to know for sure. It's absorbing it.
Well, we'll try it once we get to the actual heart of the plant substructure. That'll probably be the best place to administrate it if we can.
Does this
Or administer it if
link
we can.
all the way back to it?
Eventually.
Yeah, we just
I'm
follow it.
assuming.
Most of these type of vine colonies are all connected at a base root.
Yeah.
About the same, slightly better.
About the same size letter?
Oh, we have something to follow now.
Let me know if it's better now.
So yes.
Well, should we try to drive on the vine?
I mean, not on it, but follow it.
Yes.
Follow
Follow the
the
line.
Yeah.
Keep an eye out still.
The thing is, it's going to be a mesh system. We're gonna have to run over bits and pieces of it occasionally.
And keep an eye out for any activity of non-inanimate variety.
Sure.
So as you're driving along, this outer vine definitely leads back to more vines. They do seem to follow along the veins that you found. Buzz is better, but everyone is quieter.
Yeah, so the thing that's causing the buzz is the thing that's causing the buzz is we have the volume turned up so loud that it's basically the electronics of the microphones themselves are being picked up. We need better mics, is the end result of that.
Sorry.
Or everyone needs to be louder.
That too.
There's only so much that any of us can really do, unless, he wants to eat the mic like that.
Yeah, we need better mics and a better soundboard, but
Or use sign
it's
language.
either buzzing or we're quieter.
All right, so you definitely have approached kind of a network, and you can follow it back, and as you go up it, you do indeed find at the center of it an opening in the ground. It looks sort of like somebody had just taken a drill and gone in at a very low slope into the earth, and it pushed up a little bit, and
How wide is it?
it's pretty big. It's probably about 30 meters.
Wide enough to get the Jeep down?
Yeah,
So we
30
can take it
meters
down.
wide and 10 meters tall.
Let's... Is this Jeep four-wheel drive or two-wheel?
Four-wheel.
Okay.
This Jeep is designed to drive on every possible known terrain.
Let's-
It's even buoyant.
Let's back the Jeep in and take it down in reverse, just in case we need to make a quick escape.
So, interesting note, because of the way that the motor
Okay.
works and tradition,
Is it just as fast backwards?
it's
as
just as
forward?
fast backwards
Oh,
as it is
never
forward.
mind then.
It doesn't operate in gears.
Let's go straight down then.
It's harder to drive it backwards, but
Yeah.
this thing will go the same speed forward and backward.
So it's kind of an inclined entrance.
Actually, probably still want to go backwards. That way it's just easier for you to go if we need to get out quickly. If we can go slow going in. We're going to go slow going in regardless.
But just a better.
If we
Yeah.
need to flee, it's better to have the Jeep facing the proper direction.
So we can
The bike
make
can
like a
turn.
vine and
Bikes will
leaf.
turn around, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Makes
Really?
sense.
Really.
The rest of us are just going to ignore it, Austin.
What are we doing?
Exactly.
No,
We can make like a
seriously, what are we
banana.
doing?
Exactly.
And get the heck out of there.
I was just thinking we'd be a leaf on the wind.
Well, that means bad news for that'd be a bad
thing.
Bad news for Kyle then.
Only for the person driving.
A Florida.
Anyways,
Anyways.
I cast control magic and we keep going.
So, presumably, so as you enter, the gases in here begin to clear up. And that strong sulfuric smell you were getting appears to be going down too. The walls of this cavern are perfectly smooth, and they are this and they appear to be made out of a very pure, shiny metal.
Can we assume osmium?
None of you are geologists. Do
Other
any of you
than-
happen to have any sort
Is
of
it-
geology knowledge?
Is it the same color as the osmium?
I will let you roll chemistry.
Biology.
89 out of 50, so no.
Cool. I mean, it would make the most sense that this is osmium, and you don't know enough about the behavior of osmium to know that osmium would be... I mean, all you know about osmium is that Wynn told you it's related to platinum, and it's definitely a very shiny silver.
Well, not having our otherwise mostly useless pilot with us, I can't tell you for certain that it is osmium, but I also would consider it likely that it is osmium. Considering that this planet seems to have it as sort of an exoskeletal structure.
And you notice that the vines are traveling down into this cavern as well along the walls, and their foliage has gotten fuller. It's less of the woody stem and more of these black spiky vines.
So, translating what little I know about parasitic life forms, and I will be asking this of the biologist as well. So actually, I'll ask you in character. Sandra, looking at the way this vine seems to be working, could you map it to the behavior of any known parasitic organism? Does it seem that that might be in line with what we're seeing?
Biology.
Yes.
What's the default
Also,
of
since
science of biology is 1%, so I'm going to try with that 1%.
And slightly simpler question: are there leaves on the floor?
Yes.
Oh, we
Have they been trampled?
No. 47%.
No.
I made mine.
So things have not been walking through here, or at least not recently.
Or they've been careful not to walk on the floor. The floor's not covered in it.
Okay. So you could theoretically walk around it if you were being careful?
Yes.
except we're
Okay.
driving over them.
If you're driving over it.
I mean, I'm just talking about if a
I
whole
know.
bunch of mindless, shambling beasts were walking through here.
Yeah, we understand.
Either they're not mindless or they haven't been here.
34 of 78.
3478. You
47
one.
of 1. Yeah.
So you
Doesn't hurt to try unless you botch.
you definitely know a variety of parasitic creatures.
Yep.
It's also very
I know
common
the life, the universe, and everything. but-
for especially these kinds of vines to root up an existing thing to get to resources. Typically that's sunlight, because they'll root up and they'll use another plant to get higher to sunlight. But in a case like this, you could imagine that they could be digging into another plant to steal that plant's resources, or any living organism. It's just that most living organisms are too fast for that to work. You do know that there are weird creatures called sloths back on Earth that are slow enough that plants grow on them and feed off of the stuff that accumulates in their fur. So usually it's harmful, sometimes it's not. In the case of sloths, it's not.
So normally plants would do this to try to get like closer to sunlight. It could be trying to get to, or it could be.
It's trying to get to the osmium up above,
Yes.
and the osmium gas mixture up above.
It could be using a living organism, but that organism would have to be very slow. There's
Like a planet.
Like the planet.
creature on Earth called a sloth, and plants can grow on them, so it is possible.
So it is. So the theory that we had above ground is holds water at the moment, is what we're saying. It's entirely possible that this plant is some sort of invasive substructure of the planet.
I keep forgetting. I
It
keep forgetting the
is.
name of the third relationship.
Parasitic,
What?
symbiotic,
Symbiotic.
The third one, yeah, because parasitic is the host. The host suffers. Symbiotic is both benefit, and the third one is the attached thing benefits. The other one isn't affected.
Yeah, and that's what the sloth one is.
Yeah.
Oh, that was.
parasymbi-
No, like I remember studying it.
Freshman bio was far too long ago.
I know.
But
Mutualism, commensalism, and parasitism.
the mutualism.
Mutualism is both partners benefit.
Oh, no.
Commensalism is only one species benefits, while the others neither help nor harm. And parasitism is one organism the parasite gains while the
Right.
other the host
Those are the
suffers.
three types of symbiotic relationships.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mutualism, commensalism, and parasitism.
Yeah. So commensalism is what we're looking at.
Commensalism is the situation with the sloth.
Yeah.
We don't know yet if this relationship is parasitic or mutualism or
Yeah.
commensalism.
If
If the theory going is if it's the plant and not the planet that are turning the people into the stitched, and the planet for some reason needs the people on it, then it would be parasitic.
Could also theoretically be that the planet brought the people here because it thought somehow they could cure it.
Yeah,
so,
we have to get to the heart of it. We have to
as
get to the
you
heart of
enter
it.
the cave, this heartbeat sound has become a audible echo.
Which one?
Are we able to differentiate the two?
Now that you're in the cave, you can easily differentiate, and you can see whenever that deep bass one goes, the cave pulsates visibly, and you can feel a rush of wind pass you each
Question:
time. It goes.
putting a hand to the edge of the vine. Can I feel the faster beat through the vine?
Yes.
Okay.
So the slower heartbeat is the planet.
And the faster one seems to be the plants.
So let's follow the faster heartbeat, if we can. I mean, we just follow the vines, I guess.
I meant to ask a question
Yes.
earlier, but you
I wanna
mentioned
see what
something
vines
different
are
about the
connected to.
atmosphere.
They have the
Can my
faster
suit
heartbeats.
give any kind of
They may
more
have
detailed breakdown on what the atmosphere is?
Your suit does not have an atmospheric readout. However, you do have a couple basic scientific tools that would give you information in the Jeep.
Yeah, I'll run a chemical analysis of the
I
area.
probably would have loaded my whole duffel and kit into the Jeep as well.
That's why I'm not driving, is so
Okay.
I can do tests. So I'm gonna.
So the methane in here is decently high, but the atmosphere does contain a significant amount of oxygen.
And there was no oxygen before?
There
was less
the
oxygen.
plant-
There
the
was
plant would be giving
like
off.
in the in the atmosphere as a whole, there was like a 1 to 2% oxygen rate. In here, there's about a 16% oxygen rate,
So the
which
plant
is
giving off oxygen. Maybe.
which is close to ideal. Most air contains about 20 to 22, 23% oxygen.
Yeah.
It's just that instead of having, normally it's like 75% nitrogen, replace that with methane.
Yeah. They still can't breathe it, but it's more oxygen than
They can breathe it.
Could they?
You would have to breathe heavier to get the amount of oxygen you want.
It would be like breathing on top of a mountain.
Keep your suits on, but if you suffer a rupture, at least in here there's enough oxygen for you to survive.
Hey, just because, for shits and giggles, one of you who's in the Jeep, reach into that duffel bag. There's a Geiger counter in there.
I reach into the duffel bag and find a Geiger counter.
His suit, because he's wearing the full suit, also has a built-in Geiger counter.
Yeah.
Nothing radioactive.
Okay.
Do you have a? Did you keep a
What
sample of that?
sensors
Did you keep a
does
sample of
the
that
full
black
suit
ichor?
have that theirs
Yes, I
don't?
still have it.
Your full suit is going to contain most of your basic ones. It has an accelerometer. It has a Geiger counter. And those are going to be really your two main ones.
I want to.
Accelerometer not
While
terribly
we're
useful,
while we're
but
riding
whatever.
down this hole, I'm gonna take some of the black ichor that she harvested from the vine and run it through a chemical spectrum analysis.
That's what you were doing earlier at the vine.
Oh.
That's when you figured out what it was made of.
And
Oh, was it? Oh.
Yeah, it's made out of a weird suspension of osmium in.
Okay, I
this
thought
gold.
that was the fluid it was sucking up, not the black ichor.
Oh, the black ichor.
Yeah.
The black ichor is that plus an unknown substance. I mean, it's something black.
Yeah.
And
Some sort of ink or dye.
you can't isolate it to study it properly because you don't know how to split it because you don't know how to chemically react to something that isn't on the elemental table.
Yeah.
But it is definitely a separate element from the gold.
Yes.
if any of you feel the need to be able to throw a punch a little hard, there's also a set of aluminum knuckles in there somewhere.
You have a lot of things in here.
Yeah, it pays to be prepared.
Oh, I understand that. You just have a lot.
Yep.
There's been a conversation about this.
It pays to be prepared.
It
Also-
does, to be fair.
There's also a welding kit in there if we need to burn something,
It's not
Bring a welding kit.
just in
the.
case.
Without the gases in here, it's
There's
not
still
fair.
plenty of methane in here.
Still about that, yeah.
There is more oxygen, but still plenty of methane. If anything, it'll burn better. in
Actually,
here.
I was about to
True.
say, like, the oxygen is what will make it explode.
Yeah.
How dark is it in here, actually?
There's no light aside from what your headlights are producing
Okay.
because the gases are out there.
Hand me the NVGs that are in there, too, just in case I need to step ahead without light.
What? Why? Throw them too. Why do you have so much stuff in this bag?
What isn't in this bag?
Anything that was too heavy to carry.
I
Kitchen
start looking through the bag a little bit.
No toilet.
Oh, missed this on the psychological evaluation notes. Missed that.
I mean, if you want a full
Missed
list, let's see. Stabilized binoculars, first aid kit, disposable respirators, walkie-talkie, extra
bigger-
body
it's bigger
cam,
on the
extra
inside.
bulletproof vest.
That one I definitely missed.
I don't know if the bulletproof vest will be of any use, but
Well, as you're about to
Doctor,
head
doing
into
a
the
new analysis
maw
of her
of
when we get back
this
to the ship?
thing with the heartbeat of a planet,
If we all stay alive, I'll consider it a pass.
that seems
For
like
all of you.
a good place to stop.
all right. So before we end for the night, just as a reminder of anyone watching, Desert Bus for Hope is currently ongoing. If you go over to twitch.tv/desertbus or to desertbus.org, you can look at and donate to Desert Bus for Hope. Desert Bus for Hope is a charity organization that was founded in 2007 by the folks over at Loading Ready Run. And it's been going since then and has raised over $5 million for charity in that time. It is a bunch of entertainers, Loading Ready Run, playing the world's most boring game, Penn and Teller Smoke and Mirrors Desert Bus, over the course of a week and raising funds to keep them going. The more funds they raise, the longer they go. They've already raised. Can you bring up the amount that they've raised so far? Just go to desertbus.org.
That's what I'm on.
Yeah.
300,000.
They broke 300,000 today. Sweet.
$301,921.81.
They broke that while we've been streaming because it wasn't that when I left my house earlier. So they've raised over $300,000 already. They started on Friday. They've still got the week to go, basically. They're giving away all manner of cool things and awesome prizes. You can check out the prize list over at JustBus.org to see what they're going to be giving away and when they're going to be giving it away, as well as live auctions and silent auctions and the rest. One of our own members, Corvus, who is on our Saturday morning podcasts, which is currently Avernus and something else, sort of like swapping off every other week, made a leather satchel, like a leather messenger bag that's really freaking nice. That's in there somewhere in the prize. Child's Play is a charity that Desert Bus supports. It is a charity organization that raises funds for children's hospitals around the world in order to provide toys and games for sick children in need. Because it sucks to be sick, it sucks to be, when you're a child especially, it sucks to be sick in a hospital, and it sucks to be sick in a hospital for a long time around the holidays. So they provide all manner of games, toys, anything, to make these kids' holiday stay in the hospital that much better. It is a thing that is very near and dear to our hearts here at Final Show Films. It's something that's very near and dear to me personally, so much so that I went up and volunteered a few years ago on the broadcast team, and we appreciate it if you guys will go support them, throw your money at a good cause, and if not, at least spread the word.
Also, $5.5 million is their new lifetime bet. So,
Yep.
5.5.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, go check out a bunch of goofy Canadians raising money for a good cause, because it's worth it. Anyways, say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Farewell.
Goodbye.